Welcome back, viewers. Today we will be testing the Easy Trend Indicator. But before we do, if you have not watched our first video and the videos after that, you need to go do that now. At the Academy of Forex, we are building the best trading system possible as a team. And as a team, we will all profit from it when we are done. You can find a link to the first video down below. You can also find a link to sign up for TradingView down below. If you use the link below, you will save a little bit of money. You can also find a link below to join us on Discord. Discord is a free group communication platform. On our Discord server, we are having great conversations about all things regarding trading. One of the biggest struggles on this channel is people who use other platforms like MT4 being able to follow along. Sometimes it can be hard to find the indicators we are using on other platforms. And so on our Discord server, I have created a channel for indicator creation. And on that channel, I pinned links to freelancers who can code indicators for MT or for TradingView. So if you don't want to create a TradingView account, you can hire a freelancer for a really small fee and have them code an indicator for the MT platform. Or if you are on TradingView and need an indicator created, something unique or an indicator for a system you have developed, you can also have them code PineScript. So use the link for either MT4 coding or use the link for PineScript. Lastly, I get a lot of people that are asking me for the entire list of all the winning indicators that we have tested to date. And whereas I am not a big proponent of gatekeeping information, I've put a lot of time and effort into creating the content on my YouTube channel. And so I don't think it is too much to ask for the viewers to go through and view the content that I've spent a lot of time creating. Now, if you are not interested in supporting our channel by going back and watching the content that I have created, then I have developed a solution for you. I've created a Patreon account. I will put a link to it down below in the description. If you sign up for Patreon and you sign up for the $9 a month account, I will send you the full list of tested and winning indicators to date. I will also send you an updated list of the indicators that we are testing at the end of each week. Now, of course, you have to stay subscribed to the $9 monthly subscription, to continue to receive the updated list of indicators. But that way it will provide me with the support that I need to continue to provide the free content that I am putting out for everybody to view. Now, if you just love the channel in general and want to support us, then there is also a lower, I think $3 Patreon subscription that you can sign up for that will also help support the channel and keep things going, so that way I can continue to produce the content and the open information that we are creating here in this channel and in our Discord server. Again, if you have not signed up for our Discord, then you need to do that as well. It is a absolutely free platform where we have real-time ability to chat and have conversations about trading. And again, if you want to support the channel with Patreon, then you can find the link down below in the description. Alright, as I said, today we will be testing the Easy Trend Indicator. But before we do, I wanted to put the indicator scoreboard up for everyone to see. So, to date, we have tested 184 indicators, and out of those 184 indicators, 73 of them have been winners, which means that they have met or exceeded the 60% win-loss ratio threshold that we have set for them. The best ones so far were able to achieve a 100% win rate. Now you need to go back and watch those videos to understand the context of how they were able to achieve that. But as we are working on building the best trading system possible, you could take any one of those 73 indicators and get out there and start potentially profitably trading the markets with them now. So go back and watch those videos, make a list of those indicators, and get out there and see what you can do with them. But stick with us here as we work on maximizing your trading profits. Alright, so today's indicator, as I said, is the easy trend indicator. You can see it here on the bottom of the screen. There's not a whole lot to it. We basically have an oscillating zero line cross line happening here. We've seen quite a few of these. If we actually zoom in a little bit here, I guess narrow in a little bit, I'm not really sure. If we bring it down a little bit more here, you can actually see that there are some other lines to it as well. So I imagine possibly if you use this maybe for stocks, it is possible that it might oscillate a little bit different than it does on Forex. I'm not really sure. I don't ever see it going above these above or below these two lines here, which I'm assuming would indicate like an extreme movement in the market one way or the other. And so I know that on the page for the indicator, the creator shows it and they do a screenshot, and you can see that it is well up there above this upper line here, the 0.05000 area. So, but nonetheless, like I said, it's a pretty easy setup. I mean, we have zero line here. We have the oscillating line going red and green. When it's red, it is a short. When it's green, it is a long. Not a whole lot to it. Before we get into testing today's indicator, let's take a moment to look at Forex market structure. So what is market structure? Well, market structure is pretty simple to explain. These are basically areas of support and resistance where price action has historically had reactions to it. And so, for example, you can see this area right here. So I'm zooming back, scrolling back, crunching in price action really tight so we can get a better idea, a better view of market structure. You can see here, for example, where my mouse is on screen, there is a large area of market structure. This was a ceiling, an area of resistance going up. You can see down here at the bottom of the screen, this area here is an area of support, an area coming down that supports price action. And so market structure is basically that, these steps, as you can see, these peaks and valleys. So how do we trade, or how do we use Forex market structure to our benefit? Well, first and foremost, you have to understand that trading Forex market structure by itself is a very hard thing to do, and is unlikely to be profitable in the long run. Typically, market structure needs to be accompanied by other things, whether it be market structure and like candle reading, like understanding candle patterns. And even candle patterns, in my opinion, I'm sure there are some people out there who, can make it work. But for the most part, even using candle patterns aren't enough. Typically, what you want is a good indicator. You want to couple that with market structure, and you want to couple that with what price action is doing. So, what the candles are doing and telling you about price action and where the market is going. And so at that point, you kind of have a combination of multiple conditions all coming together to give you the best trading signal possible. But let's take a look at what we would do for market structure. So basically, what you would do is you would go to your horizontal line tool over here. I typically do it in a black. We'll keep it on that weight. And you start at the top and the bottom. Actually, I think I might go a little bit less. Yeah, we'll go with a thinner line. You start at top and you start at bottom. And you start marking off. Now, you can go back, as far as you want. You could take this down to a 1 week instead of a 1 day, and you can look at market structure going back. But keep in mind that the newest price action, the most recent price action, is going to be the most valid structure, market structure that you have to work off of. And so you typically don't want to go back too far, marking off areas of support and resistance or market structure back there. You want to kind of start working with, from the right to the left and from top to bottom is kind of the idea of what we're attempting to do. But we start marking off the highest points and the lowest points, and then we start to just kind of work our way down and work our way up, kind of meeting in the middle, marking off these areas of, like I said, support and resistance areas, these areas where they kind of have peaks and valleys. Most of the time, you want to have a reaction, at least 2 reactions to that area to make it a legitimate area of market structure. And so it's a little bit difficult back here on this big mountain peak here to really get an idea, because it's basically just a spike and a drop back down. But looking back further, I'm sure there's areas that would, validate these points a little bit better. But basically what we're looking at, if I zoom in here, you can see a few of these lines I have marked off. You can see here that price action came down. It hit this area, bounced off, came down, hit this area, and bounced off. Then you can see over here, it came down, hit this area, kind of broke through it for a moment, came back, broke through it for a moment, then took off and bounced off of it. So you can see multiple touches of that area. And then when price action broke down below it here, came up and hit it, wasn't able to break back through, and rejected it and bounced down off of it. And so you can see over here, this second line down, we have areas where price action breaks up for a moment and then immediately drops back through. And so these are reactions. You're not looking for one specific action or one specific reaction to the area. You're basically looking for these areas where price action might break through and come back. It might touch and bounce off of it up. It might come up and touch it and bounce off of it downward. But you can see that price has some kind of reaction to that area. And then you can see over here, it didn't quite make it up all the way, but very close to right in that area. And then of course we have our peak up here, and then our lower lows down here. And so that's kind of what you're looking for. And there's no real exact method to doing this. And this is why price action and market structure can be problematic, is because it is relatively biased. And so you have people who do it one way, you have people who do it another way, and there's really no clear 100% line in the sand rule that says you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way type of deal. And so because it is very subjective, you run into areas where there are different groups of thought. One group is saying it's going to go down, one group is saying no, it's going to go up, one group is saying this area is overhead support, some say this is or resistance, technically overhead resistance, some people are saying this is underneath support. And so when you have that kind of mentality, it really creates a price action environment that has a hard time following through on moving one direction or the other. And so what you end up with is a tug of war between buyers and sellers. And that's not really what we want. What we want is something that is very clear. Say, some of the indicators that we have tested, overbought and oversold, it is very clear. When it is overbought, it is overbought. That is a very clear signal. And, the mass school of thought is that overbought means that it's going to have a price correction and start to come back down at some point. And so you have the mass amount of people who are all agreeing on one direction of the market. Whereas price action, market structure, you don't always have that kind of agreement between the two buyers and sellers. And so that can create a lot of indecision, a lot of whipsaw, and a lot of fake outs. So that's why it's very it's very hard to trade market structure and only market structure. So all right, now that we have those areas marked out, you can see that I have this kind of grid pattern on screen here. Again, I don't know if you call that a grid pattern. We have a bunch of horizontal lines. Call it what you want to call it, but we've created this ladder kind of support and resistance areas. And then we have our indicator down here at the bottom. Again, when it's green, we're going to go long. When it's red, we're going to go short. And we'll kind of keep an eye on price action and market structure to see what it does as our indicator is giving us these signals as well. I'm going to go in and bump up the line weight, change the color a little bit of the indicator. There we go. Make it a little bit easier to see on screen. See over here, we did spike up to the green side for just a moment right here. It really is kind of falling in between two areas of support and resistance. And so in that aspect, there wasn't a whole lot to really look at. Then we get a break to the downside over here. That one worked out for us pretty well, getting us to take profit. And you see here that price action did break down below this area of support. And so underneath is support, overhead is resistance. So it broke down below this area of support and immediately spiked back up above it, rejecting this area here. And so you can see that we very shortly after get a long signal from the trend indicator here. I don't think it has made it to take profit yet. Let's go ahead and play it out a little bit here. All right, so price action has now came up. It's bounced off this area overhead. This trade worked out for us, got us to take profit. And now you can see that it seems to be rejecting this area right here. You can see that this painted a pretty significant red candle, came up, broke barely above, and then came down pretty quick. Now, at this point, if all you were trading was market structure, then this would lead you to believe that price action is rejecting this overhead area, that it's came up, it bounced off the ceiling above and is now coming back down, which means that this would go lower and be a short signal. Let's play it forward and see what happens. Not too bad. Kind of bounced along this area a little bit. Would have gotten you to take profit most definitely. Let's see over here. We pick up a short on this side. Looks like the short didn't work out for us too well. It almost immediately spikes back up above, stopping us out. Let's go ahead and play it forward. You see that it came down, bounced back up, hit that area of overhead resistance up here, and then pushed its way back down. Hasn't come down all the way to the lower to this lower area yet, but again, these are kind of zones, not exact lines in the sand, so keep that in mind. Also, go ahead and play it forward. Picked up a long signal for just a moment over here. Hasn't quite played out yet. Let's see what it's gonna do. So right about there. What are we looking for? 140. So yeah, that actually got us to take profit. Didn't look like it did, but it did. So got us to take profit there. We then pick up a short over here. That one did not work out for us too well. Almost immediately goes long for another loss, and then another short over here on this side. And that one actually did not get us to take profit. Alright, so there we have it. Let's go ahead, and you can see that price action is just hovering right around this area right here. It's considered, this is what they call channel trading. It's just stuck in this channel, riding it sideways. If it breaks up above this area and can hold that break, there's a good chance it will go upwards. And there's a good example of that. So it tried to break, it rejected it with this long wick here, then it broke up above right here on this one. So that is a pretty good sign that it was going to continue to the upside, because otherwise this long wick would have been followed by a red candle back down into this area. So the fact that it did have this long wick but immediately had a green candle break back above that area, it's a pretty good sign. And it looks like it's going to make its way up a little bit here. We did get a long signal right here. Let's see what it does now. See if it holds that area. Looks like it's going to pull itself down back underneath. Pick up a short signal over here on this side. got us to take profit. Then a long over here. And that one got us to take profit as well. Playing it out here. Price action really isn't doing much. It's just hovering right in this little area right here. Kind of just holding on to these bands of structure. That is another reason why trading market structure can be very difficult. Because sometimes it does get in these little funks where it just doesn't want to move. Our indicator seems to be doing rather well. Let's keep moving along here. I'm not going to worry about too much about price action at the moment. Again, it's not really doing much. I mean, it comes down, kind of swipes at these areas of support and resistance, and then kind of starts to reject them. And then when you get it, you have an area like this where it swings down, it swipes at it, then starts to reject it, and you get a signal from your indicator telling you that a long signal is now taking place. Then again, you have that those conditions that are all coming together at once and giving you a pretty good idea that your trade's going to be successful. Now, alternatively, here on this side, you can see that we came up here strong, then we came down, and we hadn't broke down below this area of support here, and we were getting a short signal, but we were running right into this area of market structure. And so that's an example of where you could have a condition that says that you're not going to take a trade that's running right into market structure. It would have to either be above or below this market structure for it to be a valid trade. It can't be running right into it like this one is, and that would have saved you probably a trade here. It looks like it stopped us out. Let's double check. Right at 204. What is our stop? 210. Ooh, it's close. It is really, really close. Let's see what it does. Well, ultimately here we got a short, but then almost immediately, so on that side, didn't even notice it called a long, and so that would have stopped us out, unfortunately. And then that long would have also stopped us out as we picked up a short over here on this side. And now as we get the short on this side, you can see that we are below this area of market structure. We have a lot of room to the downside here, and so it's looking pretty good. We have overhead market structure that is holding us from taking off too quick to the upside. So let's go ahead and play it out and see what it does, see if it holds that area. Well, it held it long enough for us to get to take profit, I believe. Yep. So got us to take profit at least on that one, but then it spiked up here on the other side here, and now you can see that it is now up above this area of market structure, and at the same time it is giving us a signal to go long. Now we have quite a bit of room back to the upside here before we run into this area of structure up ahead, and so that would be a good time to take a trade, see what happens. It kind of waffles along there, doesn't do a whole lot, comes down and unfortunately stops us out, throws a short signal at us here. That one also gets us stopped out, then finally breaks itself back up above and takes off to the upside. We would have been in that, so at least we would have finally caught a break and got on something decent. So let's go ahead and play this out a little bit more. Now that you have a good idea of market structure and how it should be used, we're just going to concentrate more on testing this indicator, see if it can get us a decent win-loss ratio. This video is going to get a little long if I keep messing around with price action, so I'm not going to worry too much about price action now. Just keep on moving on. That's a nice long trade right there, and this is worth noting when you are trading structure. When you're trading price action, this is a very strong push to the downside. You see it hits this area of market structure, and now it is bouncing along that area. That is a pretty good sign that this move is pretty much done and looking to reverse and go back to the upside, at least for a short period of time. It looks like maybe we might be picking up a long signal right here. It's a little short to jump in this for a long, but this is a good example of a strong push to one side. It's hitting an area of support and resistance, kind of bouncing along and riding that area. So we never picked up the long. It was able to push its way down to the next line of support and resistance here. Let's see what it does. It's bouncing along, see if it can hold that area. So now it's bounced off, came up, broke down below, immediately jumped itself back up over that line, and is looking like this might be the push to the upside now. We don't have confirmation for our indicator yet, but this is a pretty decent setup as far as price action goes, giving us a really good hint that this is wanting to move upwards. And there it goes. That puts us at the end of the year as well. Let's mark this trade here as a winning trade, and there we have it. So that is the easy trend indicator. Let's count them out here and see what we got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So we have 25 signals all together, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So we are on the money, 60% right there. That is really close, but it barely made it. Not a bad indicator. It's a little twitchy, little quick to get us in. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. All in all, not a bad indicator. Let's It's going to go on the yes list, and we'll move on to the next indicator from here.
If you have not already, like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so that way you are notified anytime I post a new video. As part of the team, it's important that you are seeing the new videos as they come out so you know what it is that we are discussing and what indicators we are testing, have tested, and have not tested. Also, like usual, there is a link below in the description to the Discord server. You can join us on Discord so that way we can further discuss the indicators and have discussions as we move forward building our trading system. And lastly, like usual, there is a link below to TradingView. If you like what you see whenever I use TradingView, and you are interested in signing up for TradingView, if you use the link below and sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money. So, alright everybody, I will see you on the next video.